What's up, Falcons Nation? It's your boy Jew coming at you with another Atlanta Falcons video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. In today's video, I would like to give you guys my thoughts on the first quarter of the Atlanta Falcons 2021 season. But if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you'll know when I've done Atlanta Falcons content. Hit that like button for your boy. I do appreciate each and every one of you guys continuing to tune into the channel. Continuing to support your boy. If you would like to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, you can follow me at Jew Talk Sports. If you would like to donate to my channel, you can donate to my Cash App, which is the $ Jew Talk Sports. But I do really appreciate you guys continuing to help me grow my channel. We are currently on the road to 2,000 subscribers. But with that being said, let's jump right into the video. So like I stated in today's video, I do want to give you guys my thoughts on the first quarter of the Atlanta Falcons 2021 season. As you know, the Atlanta Falcons currently sit at 1-3. Heading into this season, I did believe that this Atlanta Falcons team would make the playoffs, and I'm not backing off of that statement. I still believe this Atlanta Falcons team has the ability to make the playoffs. If you look at this first quarter of the season, every game in this first quarter was winnable games. The only game I'll say that wasn't a close game was the first game of the season when we faced the Eagles. That game was pretty much a blowout. But other than the first game, the game against the Buccaneers, the game against the Giants, and the game against the Washington football team were all winnable games. But I want to talk about things that we can improve on moving forward in this season and some of the bright spots that I've noticed in the first quarter of this season. But first, we're going to talk about things that this Falcons team can improve upon if they want to make the playoffs, if we want to be a team that can win 9+ games or 10 games. I want to talk about some things we got to improve on. The first thing that we have to improve on as the Atlanta Falcons team as a whole will be finishing games. This is something that was biting the Atlanta Falcons last year as far as being snake bitten in the 2020 season. We didn't do a good job of finishing games, and that was our Achilles heel last season. We had numerous leads that we blew when we had that 0-5 start in the 2020 season before Dan Quinn lost his job. And this year kind of has started off similar, other than we haven't had huge leads that were blown, but we're still struggling to finish games and close these games out. So that's going to definitely be something moving forward. If the Falcons want to be a good team and a winning team, we all know that the NFL parity, pretty much the talent is spread across, the whole league because of the salary cap. You have, talent on each and every one of these teams is pretty much equally divided for the most part. So it comes down to usually in these NFL games, the last possession or one possession. A lot of games are won by field goals or touchdowns. So we definitely have to be better in these close games. We did a good job against the Giants of closing the Giants out on defense and going down and having that game-winning drive by Matt Ryan when Younghoe Koo hit the game-winning field goal. But this game yesterday against the Washington football team, we didn't do a good job after gaining the lead. We didn't do a good job of closing them out. And that's something that we're going to have to continue to work at. If you want to be a good team and create a winning culture, you have to be a team that understands how to close games. Meaning on offense, if you have the ball on offense, you have to be able to run your 4-minute offense and be able to run the clock out during the end of a game. And you also have to be able to create turnovers, whether that's rushing the passer or whether that's coming up with a key interception. And that's something that this team struggled with in the first quarter of the season, is taking advantage of the opportunities that are out there. When the opportunities are presented to you where you can intercept the pass, or whether you can catch the ball and move the chains for a first down, or whether it's catching a touchdown pass, when the plays are there to be made, you have to come down with those catches. You have to make the play. If you have the quarterback wrapped up for a sack, you have to come away with the sack. There's no excuses. There's no moral victories. So moving forward, this team definitely has to be better at closing. Another thing that I think that this Falcons team has to improve upon moving forward is being mentally tough. You're not going to always have the lead in games. You're going to have, up and down plays where the other team is going to be able to make plays and things of that nature, but you have to be able to be mentally tough enough to push through the mistakes that you've made, to push through and keep fighting in these games. And I think so far, Arthur Smith had these guys believing. If you remember in the Bucks game, in that second game of the season, we were down big in the second, going into the second half, and the team did a solid job in that third quarter of fighting back into that game and bringing it close enough to a 3-point game. I believe it was 28-25 at one point in that game before the Buccaneers blew the doors open with those 2 interceptions for touchdowns. So I do think that this Falcons team is much more talented than the last year's team as far as these guys are out there competing, and guys are not out there giving up, kind of how we seen last year with Dan Quinn, where it just seemed like the players weren't listening to him anymore, and they were kind of basically his voice wasn't being heard in the locker room anymore. I think that these guys do believe in a guy like Arthur Smith and Dean Pease, and we're seeing how these guys are competing game in and game out. And another thing that I would like to talk about that I think was a bright spot for our team so far in this first quarter of the season has been Cordell Patterson. Cordell Patterson, Matt Ryan, and Kyle Pitts has been some of the guys on the offensive side that have been a bright spot for this team. And I feel now that Dean Pease and now that Arthur Smith has gotten a chance to see who his playmakers are and who the X factors are on this team on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball, I think we can see them deploy a better scheme on the offensive side of things and the game plan on the offensive side of things for Arthur Smith. Yesterday against the Washington football team, we saw him throwing the ball down the field a little bit more. We saw him open up the playbook a little bit more because now he knows that Cordell Patterson, Kyle Pitts, Calvin Ridley, these are going to be the guys that's going to be the game changers for our team. On the defensive side of things, some of the bright spots on the defense has been Grady Jarrett, Dante Fowler Jr., Isaiah Oliver, AJ Terrell. Those guys have been the bright spots on the defensive side of things. Deion Jones and Afoye Oluokun as well on the defensive side of things are the playmakers. So we're going to need our playmakers moving forward through this season, heading into the second quarter of the season. We're going to need those star players to be stars, step up and lead from the front. We're going to need those guys to be playmakers in key moments and in crucial moments. If if the ball's thrown to you like a Calvin Ridley, you have to come down with those clutch catches. Him and Cordell Patterson, Kyle Pitts. It's going to be a lot of pressure on these guys going forward, but I believe that these guys can rise to the occasion. On defense, Dante Fowler Jr. is going to have to be a guy that's going to have to finish these sacks when he gets to the quarterback. Grady Jarrett, they're going to have to continue to bring that pressure up front and be the playmakers on the defensive line. The linebackers, Deion Jones and Afoye Oluokun, is going to continue to have to be on that second level, being able to make tackles for loss and also being guys that can cover the tight ends and running backs out of the backfield. I think that they did a solid job in the first quarter, but I need to see those guys keep it up, and I need to see those guys continue to improve moving forward. On the back end of the defense, AJ Terrell has been the bright spot. Him and Isaiah Oliver playing that slot corner position. Isaiah Oliver did go down with the injury. Don't know how serious the injury was, but if he's still out there and if he's able to come back from the injury, hopefully it was something minor. If he's able to come back, those guys on the back end are going to have to take advantage of some of these quarterbacks putting the ball in harm's way, and we're going to need these guys to come up with some interceptions. But those guys have been bright spots in this first quarter of the season, and I definitely think that it's not time to press the panic button. We have the New York Giants coming in. Actually, we're going to London to play the New York Jets this Sunday. So we have a lot of winnable games on this schedule. After seeing the way that we played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who pretty much are the cream of the crop in this league because they are the defending champs, because we played them and we went toe to toe with them, I don't think it's no game on this actual schedule that we can't win. Moving forward, we have a lot of NFC South games coming up, which can also help us get back into the thick of things as far as the playoff race. But we have to start winning games, have to start stacking these wins if we want to be a team that can compete, compete in the NFC and possibly compete in the playoffs or to compete to go to the playoffs. But with that being said, that's pretty much all I pretty much have for the first quarter of the season. I mean, that's what I pretty much noticed is the playmakers that we've now have, and I also noticed, like I said, the things that we need to improve upon, and mainly is that's being able to finish these games, being able to have that killer instinct moving forward to win these games. But with that being said, you guys let me know what you think of the video. As always, Falcons Nation, I'm gonna have a lot more coming for you guys. But if you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for your boy. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. Peace.